made an error that was all my fault. If you saw this start and then we got hiccup, thanks to me. I had this thing going, and when you came on for some stupid reason, I thought I was starting it. And I stopped it. It's my stupidity. So, to to what I thought was a Tuesday night, but I feel like it's maybe a Monday night.
Yeah.
All right, we about had winter set in here in Alabama. It got a little bit chilly, huh?
Yeah, it did.
Well, you wouldn't notice it.
Cold.
You don't even have to go outside. You just put on your house coat and start working.
Well, I go out and do my walk in the evening, and it gets cold.
That's the evening before you woke up. But you don't have to warm up your car or anything.
No.
You just let the sun melt the frost now. So anyway, we're going to have an interesting show. You asked me earlier if we had a guest coming on, and I didn't at that point. But then something occurred, and you know, at least one of these two people, and you know this one person quite well. They're not on yet, so I'm still going to surprise you.
Okay.
And I hope you like them. I mean, I know you're a very judgmental, critical person. You got that typical judgmental Christian attitude where you gossip about people. So,
how dare you?
Yeah, I hate that. I cannot even begin to even ponder what you say about me behind my back.
I'm always nice and polite, damn it.
I thought you were going to say something stronger than damn it there, right? When I first met Kevin, I didn't think he was capable of even saying damn it. And then I found out he not only smokes cigars,
come on.
He drinks whiskey.
Come on,
and he tells some pretty righteous, dirty stories, too.
I hadn't smoked a thing in my life. I don't know where you get that from. Yeah.
So I used to have some meerschaum pipes. Are you familiar with meerschaum pipes?
I don't remember. I don't recall.
I'll share that visual. But they're a special kind of, not for smoking pot. That's not what I'm talking about. All right, here. Do you see who this is here?
I see a familiar person there.
Ooh.
Okay,
it's
now
sounding choppy. Is it sounding choppy?
Have you met
Hold on.
Chip?
Turn it down.
Kevin, have you met Chip?
Let me go.
I don't think I have.
There we go. I hear you. Maybe it was just because I was close to Chip. Hi, guys.
Well, two things happened in Kayleen's life. Before she left Alabama.
It's doing weird noises, though. There we go.
That's my voice.
Is it the internet? Can you hear it?
I can hear it's got an echo, but I mean, you're fine.
I don't hear an echo. Do you hear an echo?
Okay, there we go. Now it's good. Okay. I got an iPhone 12 and it sucks.
This is Kayleen, and that's her husband, Chip.
Hello.
Now, I've never had the privilege of meeting Chip, but I understand he's pretty cool metalhead guy.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
He's the United States version of Rammstein. I understand Rammstein's only played in the U.S. one time.
Oh, really?
It's only been one or two, yeah.
Yeah. So Chip, a few years ago, I had a couple contact me, wanted me to do their wedding up at Nakalulu Falls, in that little chapel up there.
Yeah.
And he walked in for the meeting with a Rammstein T-shirt on.
That's awesome.
And so I greeted him by saying Rammstein because I was familiar with him. He said, "You're hired."
Yeah. Awesome.
They actually, as a tip for that wedding, it was an entire Rammstein themed wedding, and they gave the tip was a CD of every song they had ever cut at that point in time.
Oh, sweet.
So I was already indoctrinated into them by a friend I had up in Canada who was really into Rammstein back then.
Yeah.
So, I know you look at me and you think he don't look like Rammstein, but looks are deceiving.
That's that.
So to our watchers and trolls out there, Kayleen came aboard as one of our abnormal friends from Alabama, and she is all into. Let me tell you what, she's into ghost hunting so much that she even went all the way to Virginia's and bought a house just so she could find some ghosts.
Oh yeah. And I
Victorian. Yep, you've got quite a background yourself. I understand you do some psychic stuff.
I do. I don't know where it came from, but I started paying attention to it one day, and yeah.
Well, I do one psychic reading a week.
Yeah.
And I will talk to somebody for about 15 minutes, and then I'll say, I know what you're thinking. And that's really? I say, yes, you think I'm full of shit. So that's my psychic reading.
Yeah.
I've got 100% accuracy rate.
100%.
I love it.
I imagine that we can talk all night, but I wanted to welcome y'all. And Kayleen, you're looking good. I guess married life is good for you.
It's the Virginia glow.
And y'all are really enjoying it up there.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And literally, Kevin, I don't know if you've kept track or not, but they went up there and they're so into paranormal research, they bought their own haunted house.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yes, Kevin. Oh
So,
my God. You guys
if there's
road trip.
bags under Kayleen's eyes, it's because she's going around her own house every night ghost hunting.
I've tried to do a few spirit box sessions. I want to set up the wildlife camera in the creepy room. But
game camera? Yeah.
Yeah. Because it has a tendency to every single night open the door and
a lot of times it tries to.
Oh yeah. And it pushes our bedroom door open every night too.
Oh wow.
Latched, it literally pushes against it, trying to
run. So I took
is this a voyeur ghost?
Okay, so there's a few different ones. I have a friend in Florida who's psychic, and she called me one day when I was doing laundry, and she's like, "Who's Sharon?" And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "Ask the neighbors who Sharon is. Whoever Sharon is, she attached to Chip. She attached to Chip yesterday. She was not there." And I was like, "What?" Well, the day before, we had gone to a cemetery down the street. Well, we didn't ask the neighbors about Sharon because we didn't know if it was a sensitive topic or not, or what that was about. But later on that evening, she calls me and she goes, Sam and Sharon, hold on. And she goes to Google, and apparently there's a house about 3 houses down where Sam, it was a murder-suicide. They lived there, and Sam murdered Sharon and then committed suicide. And the house is currently under construction, but a few of the neighbors have made they do not acknowledge the paranormal. We found out about 3 houses of people that we've talked to have kind of made mention of their house being haunted, but they don't acknowledge it. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't mess with that stuff. I ignore it. Well, the little girl next door, she was talking and she was like, "That creeps me out." And Chip goes, "Oh yeah, why?" And she goes, "Oh man, they like murdered, and then the guy shot himself years ago." And so.
Okay, somebody's gonna have to mute the device.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
I was about to mute mine.
Okay. It's echoing, huh?
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's why I was coming here, because it's echoing so bad when you talk.
I know. It's got really high ceilings too, so lots of sound bouncing off everywhere.
So I think that's good now, right? I muted mine.
Yeah, that's better.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Awesome.
So Kayleen, how long you been in the house now?
So we moved in October 7th.
How did you find this particular home?
I was looking for a very specific time frame. It was around like 1890 to 1920. I didn't want any newer than that. And this home kind of fit all the criteria. And the problem with all of the historic homes here is they put the crappy vinyl flooring, they threw in some new cabinets, they ruined the whole freaking house and made it cheap. And that's the whole point is I wanted the scratched up wood floors, the old doors that won't shut, the old door handles. It just basically called out to me. Like I kept coming back to this house over and over, obsessing over it. And Chip called it the Golden Girls house.
Okay.
Because there was an elderly couple that lived here, and it was just the most god awful furniture ever. It was over decorated. It was crammed full of crap. It just looked like a hoarder house. You couldn't even open doors because there was like dressers blocking this and that. So it just kept calling me, and we came to see it, and I was like, "That's it. That's it. Happy to have it."
How long when you toured the house, as you were saying, this house is mine, I want this house.
Right.
As you were touring it, did you feel anything about it at that point, or was it after you moved in?
No, I felt it right away.
Wait a minute. Chip is smiling.
We kept, as we were touring, I kept noticing, even the real estate agent kept pointing out, like, oh, that's a protection amulet, or oh, that's a protection sage. It was all over the house, just a little thing.
They
in
had
every
little
room.
protective pouches hanging from every doorway. They're very superstitious.
So did you ever meet those owners?
No, I guess maybe because of COVID, we didn't. We did the closing separately.
Yeah.
But I know it would have been very interesting to meet them for sure.
Wow.
I've heard of those little bags people used to hang over the doors. I think they called them devil bags back in
everywhere.
Every door, especially the bedroom.
Yeah.
There was something else that was just that they had.
Excuse me. So prior to you having a personal experience, you already had the indicators. It's like something's going on here, or they wouldn't have this everywhere. Yeah. But unlike them, you embrace these things.
Right. I don't have that protection up. I'm good.
Yeah. It's like, come on, I want to talk to you.
Right, exactly. There's the creepy room, which even the realtor said something about it when we were in it. I don't know. It just kind of takes your breath away. And it's like you discover little things about old homes, you know, and Chip had noticed he opened the closet to our bedroom, and there was actually a lock so there's locks everywhere on the insides and outsides of doors here. I don't know why, what they're keeping out in, I don't know. But
are you sure this isn't a house you'd find on Pornhub?
Either that or I don't know, some kind of dark history with keeping prisoners. I don't. But there's like a lock on the inside of our closet and the lock on the outside of the closet. And Chip was like, "Why is there a lock on the inside of the closet?" Well, when you look at Chip's face, I think I gave him some ideas. Yeah. Well, when you look to the left in the closet, there's a very narrow walkway that goes to the creepy room through their closet. So we were kind of like, what is this? It's like a little passageway, and there's a lock on the inside of that closet and a lock on the outside of that closet. And there's two locks on one side of the door, a deadbolt on the other. I'm like,
wow,
this is bizarre.
They were not only very superstitious, they were also, sounds like they were very scared.
Yes. And on top of that, there was a closet door that when we went, it's much shorter. It's about a foot shorter regular entrance to the door, right? So when we were touring the house, I was pulling on the door handle trying to open it, and it became unstuck. They actually had the door sealed, and I unsealed it. So maybe it was like a Dybbuk. What is it? Dybbuk? Dybbuk closet? Yeah. I don't know.
So it had a short door.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
It has a short door.
I'll be darned. So have you taken the time to study the history of the home any? Have you been able to find out anything about the history of it? Let's let the psychic say something.
Yeah. Yeah. I will let the psychic take over. What do you want to?
What do you mean? Which one?
Which one?
Yeah.
Exactly.
All of it.
There's been a few.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Okay, well, her friend that she was telling you that contacted her said it was something about a little boy whose father was a naval captain, a patriot. He just said patriot, and he was looking for doubloons around the house. Well, I had a vision, just clear as day, of this. I thought he was a naval captain. He looked like he was a naval captain. He had the little tassels and everything, whatever, and a name. I woke up one morning with just out of nowhere a name, and I looked it up, and there was a naval captain with that name just a few miles ahead in Richmond, who was part of the Democratic Party, the convention, and
In the 1800s?
in the 1800s, 1848, we found a newspaper article about him. So we've been looking into him to see what he had connected here, if he had something connected here.
So now you had just a name pop in your head overnight,
I woke up and it's clear as day. It was a name.
and then you were able to connect that to nearby history.
Right. And it was a Navy captain, just like I saw in the vision.
Just like you saw in the report.
Yeah.
Wow.
It happens all the time, and he doesn't ever know what it means.
Are you, Chip? Are you writing this stuff down? Or are you keeping a diary?
I do. I have it on my phone. I have a little notebook that I have just a folder. It's called Visions, and that's what.
Yeah.
And then we'll be somewhere, and I'm like, babe, do you remember when I told you about the big ball with the water over it? And there it is. It'll be right there at a museum or something.
So you have that kind of stuff happening, Chip.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Kayleen's having the doors opening and whatnot. Is
Right.
that
Well, see, she's kind of given it, I think, some power by being scared of it. I won't. I just walk through.
I didn't think she was scared. You tell me she's
Not
scared.
Not scared, but she's
But it
kind
startles me when
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I literally put a table in front of the door so it doesn't pop open.
Yeah.
And
So
it's
it's
like, as soon as I go to like close my eyes, it's like poof, and it hits the door. I'm like, damn it.
And you also to avoid that room, and I go in there and just
Yeah.
stand. I just stand there and listen.
Yeah, that room's
So
like,
would this fall in under the definition of a poltergeist?
it could be.
It could be.
It could be. But
It actively hitting stuff, moving
yes,
stuff.
we're constantly hearing out of nowhere, just poof, like something.
Yeah, the
flies
loud
and
crashes, and then nothing knocked over.
Nothing.
Nothing
Not
knocked
one
over.
thing knocked over anywhere, and it sounds like something huge fell.
Yeah.
And
So this is a 2-story house.
yes,
And how many rooms are in it?
9.
Yeah.
9.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course I imagine in the wintertime it's probably getting cool up there now. Pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And noises travel a lot more crisper
Right.
and louder and further in the wintertime. So that even startles you even more.
Oh, it's really loud. Yeah.
So Chip, you do artwork.
I do.
Okay. That's kind of your full-time gig?
It is right now.
You got
At
to
least-
Yeah, I got a second gig. It's kind of related to what we're talking about here.
Yeah, well, I've seen some of your art. I also wanted you to send Kevin and I some of your artwork you'd like us to display here, and also
Awesome.
put out your Facebook website, whatever, how you say your stuff. We use this to shamelessly self-promote.
Absolutely.
Look. Oh man, we didn't even think about ChipHudsonArt.com. You guys got it all up there. We got the
Huh?
Witch Doctor and MyHauntedDolls.com.
Oh yeah.
ChipHudsonArt.com.
Well, guy's got to make $1. You know what I mean?
That's right. We have wishes.
Let me tell you. Let me give you a little background. As Chip, have you followed my wishing machine?
No,
Has she told you about this? So this has been I do weddings.
Right.
Okay. 2020, everything shut down. Everybody canceled their wedding. They postponed their wedding. And so it got to be like for everybody in any kind of service business, it sucked.
yeah.
And so I guess before the 1st of August, my history for hobbies was in radio. I'm a ham radio operator, KM4BKU. And one of the first things I built as a young kid was a crystal radio. You familiar with a crystal radio?
I am.
So that means, Kayleen, if you're not familiar with it, you can pick up radio stations without using any electricity.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is awesome. Of course, it's not amplified. You got to use a little earpiece,
Right.
but you can literally, that stuff's out there. Bottom line is, with my background in religion and the philosophy I put together, it is all about energy.
Right.
Yeah.
Ghost, his haunted dolls, it's all about energy.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
energy attached to this, and we all share that energy. I try to remind people that you are drinking the same water that Hitler drank.
Right.
Right.
And breathing the same air that Bin Laden breathed,
Mhm.
So we are in this capsule. That energy, most of our energy comes from within this bubble, but it does reach out even further out to the universe. It's like Neil deGrasse Tyson says, we're all stardust.
Right.
Yeah. So the bottom line is taking what I learned about the crystal radio and my fascination with this energy and Tesla, Nikola Tesla,
Yep.
Tesla coil.
You're speaking my language in all this.
Yeah. So I thought, you know what? And I knew that there were 2 or 3 people out there, not many, but just a very small handful of people building these wishing machines, which is based on radionics, which a lot of people say pseudoscience. Okay. But keep in mind that when I was a kid, chiropractor was a pseudoscience. Okay. They called them doctor dropouts when I was a kid. So bottom line is that things sucked. I thought, you know what? I'm going to order me some parts and build my own wishing machine. This was right at the end of July. I had a wedding over in Jackson, Mississippi. And then everything that I had in August had canceled. I started out having 3 weddings in August and everything canceled.
Yeah, we all know that feeling.
My wife is invalid, and I'm a full-time caregiver as well. We couldn't get any help with that. It was just a tremendous burden on me, and then economically as well. So I ordered, and before I went to Jackson to do that wedding, I had sitting on my desk the box and some knobs. Nothing was hooked up. I was just working on the aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
It's like him taking a pencil and doing a rough outline of an artwork he's doing. It's far from done, but he's got the general idea laid out. When I got back from Jackson, within 3 days, I was busy the rest of August. I thought, anymore, it takes about 15 minutes to build a website. It's just bam, bam, we throw something up. And I bought I thought, you know what? I got to do something to make money. And so I threw up a website, called it drkelseywishmaker.com. Immediately, this guy from up in Minnesota contacts me and says, if I pay you for overnight shipping, will you overnight ship it to me?
That's awesome.
First thing I'm thinking of is, how the fuck did you find my website?
Right.
I hadn't advertised, hadn't done anything.
Yeah,
And then I thought,
they'll find my website.
well, the next thing I thought is, okay, I want to talk to this guy. He's probably Nigerian.
Yeah.
Not being racist, but
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, he's going to contact me and tell me that there's a bank account over there with several $1 million in it, blah, blah, blah. So I emailed him back and I said, please give me a call. He did. Bam, we talked for an hour and he was for real. So it's like, man, I didn't even have one built. So I've got to build this thing. He wants it like, this is on a Friday.
Wow.
And it's like, I stayed up all night Friday night building his wishing machine. So Saturday morning I could get it overnighted.
Right.
And it just started popping. I sent out, and this week I've sent out like 9 wishing machines.
Wow.
I have sent them to Australia. I've sent them to Germany.
That
I've
is
sent them to
amazing.
Canada.
Good
I've
for
sent them to
you.
California, Georgia,
Wow.
all over the place. It's just amazing. I have not spent one dime in marketing.
Wow.
No SEOs. The most I've done is put it on my Facebook page, and believe me, I don't have anybody following me on Facebook. They run from me. But the next thing I did is I thought, okay, I'll put it on eBay, and I put it on Etsy. Etsy's the big thing. I've sold them on eBay, but Etsy is like, and first of all, Etsy is very affordable compared to eBay.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's where, if you Google right now wishing machines, some of my Etsy wishing machines pop up first.
Mhm.
And that's without me doing any SEO stuff or any of that stuff.
That's
So bottom line is I enhanced mine. I'm talking Chip's language. I don't know of anybody else that's putting a Tesla coil on their wishing machine.
Right.
But the whole purpose of a Tesla coil is you're sending energy out.
Right.
You
Right.
can put with a Tesla coil, just a small one.
Right. Right.
You can take a burned out fluorescent bulb, put it next to it, and it'll make that burned out bulb glow.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the energy.
Right.
So a wishing machine has an input plate where you put your intention, you put something to manifest your intention. It could be a picture of, I know one lady in Georgia that bought hers, she put a $20 bill on it, and that afternoon she won over $500.
Wow.
Literally, she had put another intention, wish that she wanted fulfilled. It did not come true quick enough, so she copped an attitude, and literally she says, "Screw this," and threw a $20 bill there. And that afternoon, I said, "Not only did you," I said, "that machine's already paid for itself. You got your money back."
Yeah.
Kevin, did you try it?
No, I have not tried it. I've seen him
Okay.
do his on the videos, but I have not tried it myself.
Kayleen, you got to understand that Kevin's life is so sweet, he don't need any wishes.
I'm already on a ranch, got a nice cat, 300 haunted dolls.
He's even got a white stallion out there that he does not even have to feed.
Wow.
Did you know he moved and bought this estate?
Yeah, he had posted some pictures and stuff. I saw it. Beautiful.
So he's trying to compete with Elvis. He's got his Chelsea, Alabama, Graceland property for all his dolls. He's gonna build a gate there and hang dolls on it.
Perfect.
No, I'm not gonna hang dolls.
Island of Kevin's dolls.
That's it. Work.
Yeah, that doll you sent, Kayleen, since I've had it 3 times, that little booger, she's sitting on a rocking chair in the lap of a big life-size doll that I have in there.
Yeah.
And 3 times I found her off the lap and over on the floor away from the chair. Like she's
Follow me. When I walked to the bedroom, her face would follow me around.
Judith,
I don't remember.
she had a white dress.
Then yeah, that was the one that used to follow me. Like wherever I went, it was looking at me.
Oh. I
told
have
you that.
I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
2 right now that do that.
Okay. And there's one.
So, in your house, there, are y'all trying to collect haunted stuff to put in your house as well to kind of museum it out?
Well, we're definitely going to museum it out,
Yeah.
but I'm very leery about purchasing any kind of haunted stuff online.
No, if they're really haunted,
Yeah.
people will want to get rid of them and give them to you.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I totally wouldn't object to that. I have a couple right now, but I found them with Chip. I take him, I have him do a reading, and he'll get visions if there's anything, and then you can feel the energy off of the doll.
Yeah.
And we found them that way, because people will sell you a story for sure.
Mhm.
And then we have a lot of memorabilia and cult memorabilia,
Mhm.
like Jim
Oh,
Jones
yes, yeah.
and what
Heaven's-
else? Heaven's Gate stuff.
We've got Charles Manson's hair.
Charles Manson.
oh,
Y'all are really trying to give Zach a run for his money, aren't
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
you? We need to start a YouTube channel in this regard,
Right.
And Kevin and I will drive up there one day and bring all our video gear, and he will bring all his little ghost detecting equipment.
Yes.
I bet, Kevin, you'd love to go to that house up there, wouldn't you?
yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing
I
it.
know you feel things too, Kevin. I
Yeah,
remember that one ghost story went on. You're like, something just blew by me. And then
Well,
when
you
you caught that
you
background.
you weren't with us that night, but you saw the 2 dolls move during that show, didn't you?
Kevin posted, one of you guys posted the link where the dolls moved. Freaking
Hold on. Has Chip seen it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You showed it to me.
Yeah. I was
Okay.
like, oh God, you
Yeah.
have kinds of great dolls, Kevin.
That ended up, in fact, Kevin found it, but that ended up on one of those top 10
Yes,
things.
I saw that. It was so
Yeah.
cool. I was like, go, Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's still got those dolls.
Oh, and it's
Yeah, I
like,
do.
you've had dolls do way crazier than that live.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was just
That was fine,
unexpected.
dude. It happened
Yeah.
to Kevin, but you would blow them away.
Oh my goodness. Chip,
Yes.
so your big thing is would you call yourself psychic or sensitive, or how would you define yourself?
Yeah, I go with sensitive because I think psychic is more of seeing future events, and it's not future. Is I just kind of put things together that happened in the past, and then in the future we do see the remnants, but it's usually a past story, and we'll look it up and we'll find the complete story online somewhere. Like the most vivid one I remember was when we were in Savannah, and I saw the lady perfectly. I described her. I could have drawn her.
At the Marshall House, Kevin.
Yeah, the Marshall House.
Oh, yeah, I've been there a couple times.
I saw the lady
Yes.
that owned it. I saw her leaning out of a window, and we found almost that exact picture on Google Images something like an hour or so later.
Wow.
Firefighters fighting a fire there, and we found that 10, 15 years before there'd been a fire and they had to come out. And I saw the exact firefighter. He had a mustache and it was kind of curled, and he was the one in the newspaper photo.
What part of your life, when did you first detect this? How did it happen? Have you
It's
always had it?
It's always been there, but I was brought up in a Christian, I'll call it a cult. It was a Christian school / church / community that we all lived in. And so that was really frowned upon. So I kind of.
That's why you're so fascinated with Jim Jones. And
Exactly why.
Yeah, exactly. But literally.
Yeah.
so there for a while back in the. But I'm
What?
sorry.
No, I was gonna say that's why I try to pray a lot of that stuff away, and then whenever I realized that it was more of a gift than a curse,
Mhm.
I started to kind of really pay attention more.
So is that how you guys connected? Or you just met Kayleen and said, "Oh, she's a doll. I want her."
That was it. I just thought she was just exactly what I was looking for.
We were the same weirdo.
Well, we didn't know that though until
We
probably the
didn't know
second
that.
or third date. And
Yeah.
then you kind of like subtly mentioned Manson, and I was like, I like Manson or something like that. Yeah. And then it was like, okay, this is gonna work.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, and I've said it before, but Kayleen, compared to when I first met her, between her involvement with you and then moving up there, she is just 100% alive.
I am.
You see a difference in her, Kevin?
Yeah.
Like really amazing. The people are incredible. Just I've never heard welcome so many times. Like literally everybody you talk to, they're like, "Oh, so when did you move here?" And I'm like, "Oh, October." They're like, "You're new. Welcome." I'm like, oh my god.
I don't know. I'm hearing Twilight Zone music in the background.
I always hear good things about Virginia. So
Oh my god, it's amazing. And there's so much history here. We drove through Jamestown. It
That's
was-
where they ate people.
It's 45 minutes away.
If that, yeah.
If that.
Yeah.
Like it's literally just hop on the interstate, you're right there. And
So,
Williamsburg, right?
so what about this gold, silver coin?
So Virginia Paranormal Team or whatever, I follow as many as possible, of course, because I'm like, is anybody like looking for anybody? But nobody is. And I'm like, that's fine. I'll do my own thing anyway. I'm better.
Yeah.
So they had posted something like, oh, the legend's true. And it's a bunch of coins dated back to 1340 Spanish coins. And there's the old House Woods. It's in Diggs, Virginia. That's like an hour and 45 minutes away from here. It claims to be haunted. They said they haven't found any evidence of that, but they did where the old house was. There's been this legend for a long time. Like, professors and everybody were going out there trying to find this quote unquote treasure that they heard about. And they were digging around in the woods and they found a couple handfuls of these 1314 Spanish gold, which is like obviously far earlier than, the 1600s when they were there. So that's pretty awesome. I was like, oh my God.
I've got a pretty nice metal detector.
Yeah, we have, and
Yeah,
we
so
haven't
yeah.
really done anything with it because we were gonna have holes all over the backyard because it kept going off, and then we were gonna probably dig up something important. So I was like, we better wait. But there's a lot of places like Roanoke's only like an hour away,
Mhm.
but area where you're not allowed to use your metal detector. But I would love to find the areas where it is legal and kind
Right.
of go shoreline there. That'd be cool.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of good history up through
Dude,
there
great
too.
history. Lots of haunting, great history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which everything here is haunted, I think.
Pretty much, yeah. It's an
So
old-
when they do the census there, do they count ghosts as well?
I mean, they did.
Yeah.
It would definitely.
Change the electoral college.
So Chip, I've got another question for
All
you.
right.
With all these things out there, I'm calling them things, entities,
Right.
whatever you want to call them. Some people
Right.
say ghosts, some people say spirit, whatever. I do dispute when they call them souls because you are a soul, you don't have a soul. Okay.
Right.
So, but the bottom line is, do you feel like they are truly the remnants of deceased people? Do you think that we're dealing with people that were once flesh and blood, or could we?
I think that's why they're so confused sometimes when people are talking to them and the story doesn't add up, because I think, like you said, they're remnants. So they could be a collection of several different energies that were in that area. And that's why some think they're talking to a man, some people think they're talking to a child, some think they're talking to a woman. It can be residual from all that. And I also believe, I'm a really big believer, I guess because of the Christian upbringing, in the demonic powers in the world. And I think there's a lot of fakers, I call them, out there, where they're pretending to be something, and it's not really who you think.
Right. Well, this is what I tell people is that if you can't trust the used car salesman who you're face to face with,
Right.
how come you're trusting some invisible entity that
Right. Right.
even the Christian Bible says that the devils keep presenting themselves as angels of light.
Right.
And
Right.
this image that Dante gave us of this devil and hell is not biblical at all.
Right.
Because in the Bible, Satan was one of the most beautiful creatures in heaven.
Exactly.
You know? So I guess that's why people call me the devil. Is
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I
Yes.
was a case when they were doing a exorcism in the house, and there were two demonologist priests that travel all over, and it was this little old lady, and it was in Alabama, and she was living in this other house, and her husband was in the bathroom. They were just getting ready to move into the new house, and her husband was in the bathroom. He hit his head. He knocked himself out. He's bleeding on the floor. Well, they couldn't get into him for like 30 minutes, and they broke the door in, and he was like pretty much brain dead and died in 2 weeks. Well, she started having something mimicking her husband, down, touching her hair, probably because she missed him so much. She was manifesting, hoping and wishing, and it was mimicking her husband. Well, when she went, she goes, "Okay, honey, well, you can come with me," and went to the new house. And that's when it turned absolutely vicious. Showing me, well, we were standing at the table. The priests were explaining how they were going to do it. And I'm literally standing there, and half of my body that's close to her, the hair is just straight up. It was such a strong energy. And she was like, "It's behind me." And I said to her, "I know." So we went and they were like, "All right, well, can you guys like go sit out in the living room? Because it's really crowded in here." So I'm sitting next to her. She's like this little sweet old lady. She's like, "Would you like some tea?" Da, 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 da. And I'm like, "Oh no, that's okay." And then next thing you know, like, she's showing me all the bite marks, scars all over her body. Nobody was over there doing that to her, obviously. And she's showing she was playing the tape. She would have a recorder, and it was a foreign voice, and then it would throw it on the ground, so you would hear it just click off. And she was showing me all this stuff, and she kept going, "It's right here. It's right here. It's right here." And she's just pointing all over. She was so aware of this thing. Well, next thing you know, I felt everything like push me into the couch, and even like my cheeks, the hair on my head, everything stood up. My toes, I didn't even have any. I could feel everything that where there was a follicle, it was up, and it was very heavy. And the priests were coming over, and they had the sage going, the prayers, the holy water, all this stuff, and they were praying, and it just lifted off of me so fast. And they went over to the corner, and they're like, and it was trying to hide in the corner. It just like lifted up, but they were able to do like the exorcism and stuff and plant the little metals in the yard and sage around it and salt around it and oil on the windows and the mirrors and salt and all this stuff. And it was really fascinating. So there's definitely evil there, and you can invite it in, and it could totally manipulate you.
So Chip got my attention the way he described when I asked him that question a while ago, because I totally agree with him. I think we're all energy.
Right.
The whole thing we're dealing with is energy. I've made that clear. And I think when you die, that you can have pieces of you go different directions.
Right.
And that's why you caught on the word I use, remnants.
Well, okay. Well, you were talking earlier about the radios, about ham radio, and about all that. It's how many times have you heard like a broadcast that was just a partial?
Mm-hmm.
Up another broadcast. It was from a different country.
Right.
Like you're not getting the full broadcast of one stream of radio wave.
Yeah.
You're broadcast for everything, and you're in the same place. You're not moving, so it's coming to you in waves of little pieces, little particles. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the way our energy spreads across like that.
Even with CB radio, which has a limited maybe 5 miles that you talk on certain times and certain days, you can be in Alabama and actually talk to somebody in Pennsylvania.
My dad was a big CB guy. We had a huge tower in our backyard, and we would talk to people in Valdosta, Georgia, which was about a 2-hour drive from us. So
but that's it. It's all energy. That's what radio waves are.
Right.
And we are bombarded by this. I think that one thing that confuses us is now we've got so much energy out there compared to when that house was built. Even back when I was younger, they would talk about the power lines were radiating this energy, and
now it's 5G and all this craziness.
Yeah, we wonder why we're dying of cancer and everything.
Of course, because you can't escape that. It's everywhere.
So we're polluting, and so I think it can. I'm with you on most of what we're saying here, because I think all we're doing is confusing everything.
Right.
And so it makes it harder. And that's why I think that so few people sense things like Chip does.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I think at one time it was more common, going back 200 or 300 years, that people would sense. You go to the indigenous people of this land here.
Yeah.
If they killed an animal, they would, before they even did anything with it, they would give thanks to the animal for sacrificing its life. If they chopped a tree down, they would give thanks to the tree for, what it provided. Now we're so industrial, we're so capitalistic that we just ignore nature, and that's our fault. I mean, so if there's evil out there, I think it's evil we created and empowered.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so.
The story that I had a tarot reading one time at Floss Furnace in Birmingham.
Oh yeah.
And it was a lady that had worked there with the haunted house or with the historical society, whatever, for 25 years. And she said when she first started there, they had the random thing happen, something unexplained, whatever. Now it was to the point where it was nightly, and because people were coming there, and it was like a magnet. They were coming there looking for something. They were drawing spirits in, particles in. So they were like, oh, we're getting attention over here. More power started coming in, and people started giving it more. And like I said, like a magnet, just drawing in from around, bringing it with them to the park. And she said now it's like a nightly thing that something happens there. And she really that's what it was.
I use flags as an example.
Yeah.
The American flag, Confederate flag, the Nazi flag. It's all just material with different colors.
Right.
We empowered it.
Right.
Because we said this is this. And we, over a period of time, we strengthened it. We empowered it. to where now the Confederate flag can start riots in the street, and the Nazi flag can start wars.
Right.
All because it's just a piece of cloth.
Right.
It's a harmless piece of cloth, but we gave it so much energy.
Right. I say
Yeah.
the same thing about the inverted cross. You know, it was done as a sign of reverence to not be crucified.
Yeah, and now it's satanic.
Suddenly, it's a
Yeah.
symbol of pure evil, and it's like I thought it was a
No.
symbol of respect. Which is
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Well, let's put it, and I'm not picking on you, Kevin.
Oh. Oh,
Kevin's got to be the probably the only decent Christian on the planet. Okay.
Kevin's awesome.
But the thing is that the average Christian don't even know their own belief system. That's the bottom line. I say they've Chip, you'll like this one. I say they've Elvis-sized Jesus.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I'm saying by that?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, where's the message? I don't know, but I'm saved.
Come on, buddy. Come on. He wants.
All right. So, Chip, if I wanted you to do a psychic reading, could you do one?
It really depends. Like sometimes it's very noisy in the old head, and sometimes there's nothing there.
Well, I want you to look at Kevin. He's been quiet tonight.
Okay.
Tell me what
He
he's
has been
thinking.
quiet. We haven't given him time to speak. We're sorry.
Kevin, talk.
Talk. Well, you know what? Now you're gonna get me started. I'm gonna put my book cover up here. My new book, 900 Collection, The Dark Side.
That's a new one, huh?
$900.com. $900.com. Buy it today. Buy it today.
I love it, Kevin.
Take
It's awesome.
advantage of the time.
Yes.
Uh,
Is this one based on truth?
Yes, this is, I have the first book I had was the first of these was My Haunted Collection, and that just talked about the
Right.
several of the original items I collected starting in 2013.
I love it.
And then people kept saying, when are you going to write another one? When are you going to write another one? And so I said, okay, well, I can write one about the scarier items in my collection.
Right.
So this has everything from a shapeshifter mask that was used in ceremonies to I have a doll in there, a rocking horse doll that was pulled from a murder house in West Jefferson County.
Ooh.
Kevin, you've been invited to Canada.
I'm invited to Canada. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, I wouldn't mind going to Canada. They got some good things up there. They've got some good haunted places and conventions and lovely ladies up there.
Well, there's one Jennifer there. Greetings, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us and thanks for being part of what we're doing. I hope that you also subscribe to My Haunted Dolls on YouTube.
Yes,
And
sure.
Kevin don't need the money, but he sure likes money a lot. So
He's got a habit. He needs that money.
I need
The
to.
babies are calling.
I need it to where I can that I can revert my full-time job to that from
Exactly. Just
listening to attorneys scream at me all day.
that's not fun.
No.
So Chip, your artwork.
Yes.
Have you done any Bigfoot art yet?
I have not, but that was very intriguing when she told me your
I've
suggestion.
got a bunch of Bigfoot
See,
fanatics.
that when I grew up, like I said, with the Christian school, it was really frowned upon, so I had to hide it. So I would get Hardy Boy books, and then I'd hide under the Hardy Boy books the Alfred Hitchcock novels, and then the Loch Ness Monster, books, and the Bigfoot books, and the Bermuda. When I found the Bermuda Triangle, I was obsessed at like 8 years old. So I'd hide them under the Hardy Boy, Nancy Drew books, so that my mom wouldn't keep looking and find the deeper, darker stuff. But actually, she actually went to Huntington College near West Virginia, Point Pleasant, West Virginia, right at the time of the Mothman. She was actually in the college, Huntington College, at the time of Mothman. And she was actually the one that would buy me the books. She bought me Helter Skelter when I was like 10. Wow. She bought me the Amityville Horror when I was 10.
So you were encouraged along the way.
About the Moonies from her. Read about the Moonies. So yeah, she was actually she was a Christian lady, but she had a little bit of an interest herself. So that was cool.
Well, that was kind of like my mother's mother was a Christian lady. Of course, growing up in North Alabama, Even atheists call themselves Christians.
Right.
Yeah, you better.
What church do you go to? Yeah.
Yeah, make one up. Yeah, the
Yeah.
First Methodist Baptist of the street corner.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But she was into Halloween, and so I always enjoyed my, that's one place I could always safely go to spend the night was at my grandmother's.
Right.
And she would let me stay up on Saturday nights. The scary movies when I was a kid were those black and white Frankenstein movies.
Here we go again. This is my life. My
Yeah.
my aunt and my grandma would invite me over on Saturdays.
That's
Saturday
it.
night
So it's like, ooh.
films. Yep.
And we didn't have all this animated stuff they've got today.
Right.
There was her front door, smaller house, and by the front door was a little bedroom, and the windows, would open, and she would run a vacuum cleaner hose out into the bushes and talk through the vacuum hose and scare the kids. I'm the wicked witch of the east, or whatever.
That's awesome.
So I got my feed from that. And then I love magic. And if you really read the Bible's full of paranormal,
Right.
God, alien,
Right.
I mean, come on.
We started talking about this. I'm like, it's all in the Bible.
One of the first things I wanted to do was turn water into wine. It just takes me a lot longer than it did Jesus.
Right. Exactly. You have to ferment a little longer, but yeah, it happens.
Yeah. But all right. So have you ever done psychic readings upon demand, shall I say? Have you been able to sit down and say, well, the spirits are out tonight, I'm getting something? Do you do the John Edwards thing or the
I demand it.
are you more Chip Coffey or Sylvia Brown?
Yeah, right, exactly. No, yeah, she'll demand it sometimes, and it's like I call it psychic impotence. Like it's just not happening tonight, baby. And then there'll be other times where we're driving, and I'm like, you got to pull over. You got to pull over. I'm seeing something right now. It's happening right now. So it is kind of scattered. I really want to, like, while we're here, especially, I want to focus on maybe harnessing, a little better. So
All right, I want you to look on the screen there.
okay.
That is Brandon from the Blount County Bigfoot Research Organization. You're missing an opportunity because these guys do celebrate Christmas. They do buy gifts. They like Bigfoot stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, I've even got Bigfoot on my ball cap there.
All right.
Yeah.
You got some work to do.
So you're not going to get any sleep tonight, Chip. You got to get some stuff out now.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Brandon, thanks for joining us. But so how do you detect what happens in your psyche that you all of a sudden know, or is it just stuff just start popping in your head? You're walking along.
And
You do like that New Jersey girl, what's her name? You walk along, talk to strangers, and say, "Hey, you're gonna die in a week,"
No, I don't think I've ever had that. It's just like I said, it actually catches me off guard. I'll be saying something in my head, or I'll have a name or something, and it's repeating. Then all of a sudden, the awareness is like, wait, why am I saying the word Garrett over and over? And so then all of a sudden I start listening, and then the rest of the story kind of comes in. But like I said, I forget to pay attention sometimes.
So you embrace that. You never ran from it. It's always been a part of your life.
Right.
I've never put out anything that's come to me. A lot of psychics at the first of every year, they'll say, my predictions for 2021 and that kind of stuff. But last year, 2019, as we're coming up on the end of the year, I felt compelled to write two things. And it's still on our website. Number one is I put the date of June the 20th of 2020 as being the date that you would know that Trump was through. He was history. Okay? It didn't start out as June 20 in his life. He had set the date a few days earlier, and he was forced to change it because it was coincided with a black holiday.
Right.
Juneteenth. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember
And then
that.
all of a sudden, the very week of the 20th, he changed it.
Yeah.
And they bumped it up, and they even had outside overflow section that nobody showed.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
You may
remember. I
remember this.
remember those predictions.
And
too. I
and
was
if
like,
you
holy
saw
crap.
when he got back to the White House, his tie was untied. He was slumped over,
Oh, yeah.
walking.
Yeah, I
I
remember that.
image, yep.
Yeah, depression.
But I also put, and I didn't know anything about a pandemic, but I wrote that it's going to be the year of disasters.
God.
So that's what I put out. You know, it just came to me that that don't even ask me about June 20th, but that was pretty interesting.
Well, you are a disaster, Kills. I mean, wow.
Kevin, I tried to get you to talk, and now you're gonna just be a smart ass. Yeah.
I was resting my voice, but no,
Oh, okay. Are you gonna sing for us now?
no. I don't want to scare off the audience.
Oh Lord. So, what is the most profound psychic experience you've had, Chip? If you were to tell a story about, and it was the theme of your book that you're going to write from all this, it's what would be the highlight of your? I don't know how old you are, but I'm going to say 29. And
I'll take that. Yeah.
your 29 years of psychic experiences. There's that one that you're going to draw from to make it the theme of your new motion picture to put the Amityville horror to shame.
Right. Well, that one would definitely be the Savannah night. It all started. We were walking. We were on the second floor.
We were on the. Was it the fourth floor?
Fourth floor.
Fourth floor.
Yeah, there was an even number.
It was like 2 rooms over from
I
the
don't-
supposedly haunted room. Or
Yeah, I don't
whatever.
like even numbers, and there was an even number floor.
I think it was 418.
Yeah, and we were walking by, and I looked up a stairwell, and there was a man there wearing like a gray, looked like a Confederate kind of thing you'd see in a history book kind of uniform. He was looking at this painting, and we come to find out that man was the captain of that ship that sunk in the harbor out past the beach in Savannah. So we came back to the room, and she was like, "Okay, what else do you see?" And I'm like, I don't want to do it, in front of you, because I'd never done anything like that in front of her. And she's like, just try it. I'm like, okay. So I laid back, and as soon as I closed my eyes, it was like I was walking through a dark room, and there's TV screens everywhere, and I was walking up to them to see what they were broadcasting, one after another. And I would just describe what was on that screen, what I was seeing there, and she would write it down.
I would
and was
write it
Googling
down. Yeah.
incessantly, and I just went through a whole story of, like I said, the hotel when it was built. I saw it being built.
Okay, now which hotel is this again?
What's that?
Which hotel again?
It was
The Marshall House.
The Marshall House, yeah,
Mhm.
in
Now,
Savannah.
Kevin, when you went, where did you stay?
I was on the oh gosh, was it the 4th floor? I was on the top floor.
Okay.
I want to say I was 417 and around in there, and the room next to me was supposed to be the most haunted in the entire hotel, and I kept
We were, yeah.
And I kept hearing the radio come on in that room because I could hear on the other side of the wall, and nobody was in there.
Nice.
Well, he had another, but Chip, I'm sorry I interrupted you. I just thought that was his. But finish your story, and then Kevin's got his own.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. It seems like that's a popular hallway.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, so like I said, I started seeing basically the history of the hotel, the owner. I described her.
You saw the history of embalming.
Well,
as well.
I was getting to that.
Okay.
Yeah. No, so
Don't get in a fight over this. Come on, calm down, Chip.
right. No, so we kind of went through all of that, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I saw this guy, and it looked almost like he was Rasputin. He had the longer hair and the weird mustache. I'm like, there was nobody alive during the colonial period or whatever. Not colonial, but during the Civil War era.
Who would dress like that?
Dress like that. He looked like a vampire.
Yeah,
like he was Vlad Tepes in Victorian gear. And we looked it up, and sure enough, the guy existed exactly as I described him.
But
he was the inventor of the iron coffin
that he saw a vision of. He was
that I also
describing
saw.
it
Yeah,
before.
I thought it was a crypt. I saw the cross on it and the designs on the outside. I described all of those, and we could have found out that was the first iron coffin. The designs on the outside of it. He was the one that invented it, and they used it there in Savannah to ship soldiers back so they wouldn't decay So they had to go on train or by horseback, being drugged, not drugged, but carried in a carriage, and he just was right there looking at me, and it's like he could have told me something. I could have heard him talk. It felt like, and we discovered he was instrumental in coming up with the iron coffin, which ended up not being a popular thing because it was more expensive to make the iron coffin than to suck a body for us.
He invented the embalming.
Embalming, yes, he invented
the embalming process.
Wasn't embalming invented because of the Civil War?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Because they wanted to preserve the bodies, and of course there was not automobiles and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that story. I'd never heard it
No.
before, and I definitely couldn't have described the guy he worked with the long hair and the Rasputin mustache. But he was on. We found it connected and on what page was it? It was something like Medical Journal or something.
Yeah, it even had like the schematics.
Yeah.
And because he had said there's 3 screws on it or something, and he's describing all of this, really, he's like, this is just weird. There's no such, this did not exist. This looks like a torture thing. I don't know. It's metal. There's no such thing. And like, I just happened to type in like iron coffin or something, and then it connected to the guy, and then he described the guy, and I go, does this look familiar? And he's like, that's him. That's him. And it was
the outfit
everything.
he was wearing just looked so like not that period. He had like this long cloaky kind of,
Yeah.
it looked cool, but it was a very weird
Okay,
period to have that clothes.
I've got an announcement to make to all our listeners. We're going to put up a GoFundMe page so we can buy them a iron coffin to put in their house.
Yes. David Birmingham Oddities has a full freaking skeleton I want.
Did you see how excited Kayleen got when I said that?
Yes. Dang it. I was really hoping when we took the fireplace apart, there was going to be like a stack of bones or something. Like, there's got to be something here.
All right, we've been talking right at an hour here. Chip, how do we find your artwork? Where do we buy your artwork?
Okay, it's pretty
Most
easy. If you go to Chip Hudson, ChipHudson, ChipHudson.com, you can buy, to your heart's content there. You can also see a lot of my work, but it'll also have, the links to my Facebook and Instagram. I try to put different arts on different sites just so you don't get it all with one thing. That kind of keep people, well, let's go check this one out too, and kind of spread the love around. But they're all on ChipHudson.com.
Do you do commissioned work?
I do.
So if somebody's got an idea or whatever.
Exactly. And I love that. I love working with people on their ideas and seeing it come to life and seeing the excitement that they have when they see it come to life.
Remember, we got a lot of Bigfoot friends.
Right. That's happening. That's happening.
Yes, definitely.
Kayleen, do you have a site or anywhere that you promote your paranormal stuff that you're,
We're about to start.
We've got a lot of things happening.
We got the stuff.
Okay. Well, even with Chip's diary of all this stuff, this is at least start a blog somewhere.
Oh my God, we are.
Yeah,
we bought. I mean, I know there's a bazillion out there, but we bought a podcast setup to start,
Okay.
and we've got all of our cult stuff, murder stuff, serial killer,
for
and
documentation.
then it's just going to be pretty much about everything. We're total weirdos.
Yeah.
We like all kinds of stuff, and
Right. So we think we're gonna call it Our Haunted Life, and just like I said, focus on the murderabilia that we collect, focus on the weird places we go, the visions we have, and the stuff mostly that happens in this house. Which, by the way, did you hear in there just now the clicking?
yeah.
And
What
Trey,
is
you
that?
ran in here. I don't know. Trey, you ran in here.
So
Yeah.
I want to come up there and do a full blown seance.
Yes.
I think that would be
Let's do it.
what they want.
Have you heard of Bob's Spirit Board?
Bob's? No, but I heard that Bob was God. I don't,
Well, Bob's Spirit Board, if you look it up.
Chip, you've heard of the Discordians, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, all praise Bob.
Right. All great, Bob. Yeah.
Well, it's supposedly this spirit board that was created by a serial killer, and it was found in his garage, and they manufactured it. It was supposedly, the legend is, there's a bunch of symbols on it and stuff. And if you decipher it, they'll pay you $500,000. It's still unsolved what those mean. And for if there's any activity during your video, they will pay you for the footage.
Okay, so Kevin, forget the coins. We're gonna go solve that riddle.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah.
Let's
okay.
crack $1,000, guys. That's
I
our
want
wish machine.
to backtrack just a second because Kevin has got his Marshall House haunted story when he was there.
Let's hear it, Kevin.
Okay, well, when I first got there and got to my room, I was probably there about a half hour. I'm sitting there. I just, driven all those hours and I was worn out. So I said, the first thing I'm going to do is sit down and relax before I walk around anywhere. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking through their big old colorful book they've got showing all the places you should go visit in Savannah. And I already knew I wanted to go to Bonaventure and some other places. But as I'm sitting there, I feel a cat rub against my leg. And of course, I have a cat here at home. So at first that wasn't surprising, and then it dawned on me about a split second later, I'm not at home. Why is there a cat in here? So I looked down, and there's nothing there. And, I acted quickly. I grabbed my cell phone, put up the camera, start snapping pictures around to see if I could catch anything. And I didn't catch anything. So an hour later, maybe a little more, it was dark, and I had signed up to take a ghost walking tour that night. And during the tour, we were probably 3 or 4 blocks away from the Marshall House. I can't remember now distance wise. There's another house there that's open for tours where they say there's a spirit of a little girl there who's been seen in the window. Then they start talking about the ghost cat that's seen on that block and inside that house a lot. I can't remember the name of the house. I think it starts with a D. But anyway, I toured it the next day, and they talked about that ghost cat. In fact, they sell little stuffed ghost cats in the gift shop. So, of course, I bought one, brought it home. But anyway, as she's telling the story that night on the walking tour about the cat, she says it's been seen not just in this house, but it's been seen up and down the block. It's been seen as far as even inside the Marshall House. That's when I put my hand up and I said, well, I was in my hotel room an hour or so ago and I felt a cat rub against my leg for, several seconds. And there's nothing there. And she said, yep, that people have had those feelings of a cat rubbing against them, or they've seen a cat in the hallway. The best reported incident they've had is somebody was outside the house I mentioned with a little girl. They've seen her staring out the window at nighttime. I think she was the daughter of the original owner and died from an illness. Things that usually happen back then. But the best incident was somebody was outside there one night. A couple was out there just walking around. They were not on a tour, just on their own. And they were in front of the house, and across the block, they see a cat coming. And it looks like a solid, regular cat. Comes across the block there, across the street, comes up by them, and the lady reached down, even pet it, said, it was a cat. It was a real cat. Or at least they thought it was at first. And then it sprinted off toward that house, and they stood there and watched that little sucker vanish through the outside wall of that house.
Oh, wow.
And they're just standing there going, with their jaws dropped, looking at each other and looking back. All of a sudden, in that downstairs window where they've seen that little girl spirit, there she is in the window looking out at them, and she's got the cat in her arm, stroking it.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And I think one of them tried to snap a picture, and nothing would show up.
Dang it. That's awesome.
But that was really cool, and it didn't scare me, of course. And then that haunted room next door, I heard it might have been the TV playing. It would go on and off during the night, and nobody was staying in there. I already knew that it was vacant. But other than that, I had a pretty good quiet time there. I did do a spirit box session live. Well, I tried to do it live, and YouTube cut me off in the middle of it. So I did a regular video and posted it later of a spirit box session I do in my room. And like I normally do, I had a haunted doll that I took with me.
Yeah.
And I had her sitting up on the pillow there of the bed, and I'm laid across there with the camera on. I did a spirit box session, all kinds of voices, a couple of children, a couple of adults. I mentioned that floor. I was on the 4th floor. They've seen the spirit of a one-armed soldier who was said to be one of the Civil War soldiers who died there when it was used as a hospital.
Yes.
They've seen him walking up and down that hallway, and people who dare to stop and speak to him, he asked them where his arm is. I think what I heard when I was there. But every time I mentioned him, I kept hearing a deep male voice coming through the spirit box. So I think he spoke a little there.
Did you hear running up and down the hall a lot?
I didn't. I know a YouTube friend of mine, Brittany Crabb, stayed there just a matter of months before I went there. In fact, she stayed in that haunted room that I was next door to.
Right.
And she heard a bouncing ball, like a kid's ball, and she got it on video. It's on her channel. She was outside filming her video, and you can distinctly hear the bouncing ball, like it's right there. And you can see on the video there's nothing there.
Oh yeah.
And
well, I kept waking, like I didn't sleep. I was up all freaking night because I was trying to debunk everything that was happening. I was like, I'm sitting there laying there. He's passed out after all of his psychic, visions and stuff. And I totally drained him. I'm like, what else? What else do you see? Close your eyes. He was so tired. And so I was laying there and I felt something push down on the blanket, and I'm looking at it and I'm watching it indent into the blanket. So I lift the blanket up and I'm like, maybe it's a weighted blanket. I lift it up and it pushes back down again. And then it pushes on the pillow, and then I fluff the pillow up, and I'm just watching it. It's messing with me all night. And when Chip wakes up in the morning, I'm like, come on, babe. And he's like, we barely slept. What's wrong? Uh-oh, he died.
I didn't catch it.
His phone died. Oopsies.
Uh-oh.
He's froze.
Basically, so kept looking at it, and I'm like, he's like, what's wrong with you? Why are you so tired? And I'm like, because I was up all night, because the freaking pillow was moving and the thing were moving, and I was trying to figure it out, and the blanket was moving, and I kept hearing people run down the hall. So then I jump up and I open the door and there was nothing there. And then I was like, who the hell keeps running up and down the hall? So I just, all night long, I'm just like having all this activity, and I just couldn't sleep. So I was like, all right, let's go get breakfast. And he's like,
yeah, they say you can hear the kids running up and down the hall. Yeah, there's one little boy.
I was like, who's letting their freaking kids run up and down the hall? What is going on? It just sounded like a rambunctious group of people at all hours of night, and there was nothing there.
There's a little boy spirit I've heard when I was there last year. They told stories about that they've felt him press on the mattress. So it's interesting you said that. It's a little boy spirit, and they've also had him tickle the feet of the guests when they're laying in bed trying to sleep.
Yes. That had to be him. I can't imagine who else would spend all night messing with the pillows and the blankets. I mean,
it was probably him.
Well, exactly. Well, the little kid that my friend had a vision of at this house with the doubloons, he likes to march in front of the bathroom when you're going to the bathroom at night. You hear marching back and forth. He tries to turn the bathroom doorknob when you're using the bathroom. He also completely messes with the blankets beyond belief. Like literally, I'm a blanket hog. I will admit that. I will steal the whole freaking blanket from you. I will fight you tooth and nail. I'm always wrapped up in the blanket. So we sleep with two separate blankets because I'll always leave Chip without a blanket. So, I mean, I was waking up tucked in like a mummy, like completely, like somebody just tucked me all in. I couldn't even move. And I'm like, I would not even do this to myself. I don't sleep on my back. Why am I all tucked in like this? The blanket would be switched. Chip would have mine. I would have his. And she called me the next day after she told me about and she goes, have you been having issues with the blankets? And I said, what are you talking about? She goes, he told me he likes to mess with the blankets at your house. And I'm like, yeah, he is switching our blankets and tucking me in and pulling it off the bed. And it's super annoying. And she goes, yeah, he bragged about that. He likes to play games. He's a little trickster. So,
so Chip, how do you, with your psychic thing going on, how do you rest in a home like you're living in now? Is it
That's a good question, but I think there again, because I ignored it so long when I was younger, that it just kind of becomes like, how some people can sleep with the TV on and some people can't sleep with the TV on. I've just gotten to where I can just sleep with the TV on because my
I
mind
got you.
sometimes it just doesn't. And so that's where the art comes from, though. I'll
So
see
it does,
as plain as the picture, and I'm like, okay, I'm making that right now.
yeah.
So
So if do you ever get something that comes through so strong that it will not let you ignore it?
yes, oh yeah. As I said, I've
In
told
other words,
you've
Chip, I'm trying to talk to you.
yeah. Yep, I have. I've told her, I'm like, I can't talk right now. Hang on. Here. Yeah, it definitely has. Yeah.
So Kayleen, sometimes he's on the phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Hang on, I got another call coming in. Hang on.
I'm all for it. I'm like, yeah, what do you see? Because we found out that right down the road, there's a supposed lot that's like a triangle. It's a park that
Oh, yeah.
they dumped
The
yellow fever.
Yellow fever.
When yellow fever came through here, they dumped about 1,000 bodies in this lot.
It's called Yellow Fever Park.
It's called Yellow Fever Park, and the Girl
Oh,
Scout groups actually put a sign out there
and turn it into a garden so you wouldn't walk across
and
it.
turn it into a garden. So we literally, I found it out online, and I'm like, dude, let's go right now. It was nighttime.
That
I'm like,
sounds like the exact type of place you'd like to take your kids to play.
absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's
Right.
so warm and welcoming, and
Right.
lots of people
Mommy,
there.
tell me the story again about the people with the fever.
Yeah. So they supposedly dumped all the bodies here, and they, what did they do? They buried 1,000 flowers, something.
Yeah. Like
To commemorate them. But it's like literally right in front of this like apartment building thing.
in the nice area, yeah.
In the nice historic like Ghent area or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, so that was pretty cool. Then there's the but he didn't get any vision there at all. It was
that one thing though, just the one
Oh.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yes,
What was it?
It was a compass. I saw a
He
compass.
saw a compass, which they came over on a ship, and that's how it was there.
And I saw a sextant. So I saw a beautiful sextant, and then a bunch of yellowish paper that had circles drawn around it. Just lots of circles, like the come but they were random. And that's it. That was it.
But the thing about it is, the story that he didn't know is they came over on a ship, and it wasn't intended to come to Norfolk. It was intended to keep traveling, but the ship got a hole in it or something. Oh my God, I have like 4,000 emails. What the heck?
Yeah, you did.
So it got a hole in it, so they had to pull in Norfolk, and they didn't tell anyone when they pulled in that there were people that were sick on board, and they had yellow fever, and then they brought doesn't that sound familiar?
Right. They wouldn't wear their
Repeating itself.
masks.
Yeah, so they didn't tell anybody they were sick, and then they spread it all around, and that's how everybody ended up dying again because they had just gone.
Sounds like COVID-19.
Exactly, history repeating itself.
Yeah.
Good God. But
Wow.
yeah, that was there, and that was because he didn't know about Chipper, and
Yeah.
so the fact that he saw like the compass and the circles and stuff, I was kind of like, I think that's basically like they were navigating.
Well, that's what I kept getting. The
You know?
word navigator kept kind of coming through too.
Yeah. So I always take him and test him out. I don't tell him. He goes, "Don't tell me anything." I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
So Kayleen, when you take your road trips, like you and Chip say y'all are going to go to the Yellow Park or whatever.
Yeah.
whatever. Do you take your notebook with you so you can write down anything that comes to him there?
I have my handy dandy notebook.
Yes. Both our phones are
I
filled.
mean, you know,
Notepads filled with notes. I'm
Yes.
just typing away and Googling away while he's having these visions to see if I can come up with like the person or the history behind it or something that connects to it. Because he knows it when he sees it. He'll be like, nope. He'll go down a list of 100 different guys' pictures and he'll be like, none of it. Or that one right there. He'll just know it.
I don't know it. I've seen it.
Yeah, you
Like,
saw it,
yeah.
but it's like on in front of you. So
It's like
I'm
when you see a
constantly,
picture of your friend, you're like, yeah, that's my friend.
yeah.
It's like that. I've seen it before, so
Mm-hmm.
I recognize it.
So yeah, I'm like, what else? So I have to be quiet sometimes.
so I've got another question for you guys.
Yeah.
There are people that call themselves paranormal researchers, and then there are people that call themselves ghost hunters.
Right.
To me, the difference between a ghost hunter and a paranormal researcher is a ghost hunter is just looking for ghosts.
Right.
Okay. In other words, they're not really trying to get to the bottom of anything. They just want
Right.
to, I want the experience. It's
Right.
kind of like a hobby. Where do you guys fall in line with that? Are you really are you interested in learning more about what these are, or are you just is it just entertainment value?
Exactly.
And we try to pinpoint historically why. Is there any events tied to it? What is the history behind it? What happened there? I have pages and pages. I spent hours upon hours looking up. We got diedinhouse.com, and it tells you everybody who's owned this house, and it tells you how many of them have died, if they died in that house, or if they don't know, but they're deceased. So I was like going through the list of every single one of those people. What was their connection to this house? When did they live here? Well, I want to know. We just have this need for knowledge on everything. It's like diving down the rabbit hole of history.
So you also, like me, I like the historical value.
I love
of
it.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So Kevin, as you listen to them, and you've known Kayleen for a while, distinguish between what you do compared to what they do. You know, you're known for your dogs, okay? And you talk with EVP and spirit boxes with your dolls. If you compared yourself to Chip and Kayleen and what they got going on in their world, is there a difference, or do you feel like you're on the same page with them?
It's kind of, I mean, there's not really much of a difference. I like to do it not just because I'm fascinated by it, but also the years I've been with Scare of Alabama with Kim Johnston, we like to help other people who don't know what's going on, that have experiences and don't understand, to help them better understand what's going on, or even better yet, if it's something natural that they're mistaking, we like to debunk it. Anything to help somebody. We've done private homes, and we've done businesses, and we've done historical places. So yes, not only just because I have a passion and interest in it, I do love having these items here. It's really interesting.
Right.
But it's also, I like
that much energy. That's awesome.
Right.
But it's also to help other people to understand what's going on, and people with spiritual problems that need some help, especially when they're dealing with the negative, the nasty stuff.
Yeah.
We don't like the nasties. We want to get rid of the nasties.
So do you guys,
play nicely?
all three of you guys, including Kevin, do you guys feel that these entities are like, some of them anyway, are like bullies? If you remember bullies in school, if you were like me, I used to be a little scrawny little kid and was bullied a lot. That I learned that if you don't give them reaction, they go away.
Exactly. So that's what you were asking earlier, and I was going to say something about it. You're talking about the difference between a ghost hunter and a paranormal investigator, whatever. I think it's that level of skepticism. Now, I think Kayleen is more of she's more of the Mulder from X-Files. She's like, I want to believe. And I'm more of the Scully, like, I'll believe, but I'm going to need a little more proof than you do. She goes looking for the things. I go looking to not find the things.
Right.
And I think that's why we kind of balance each other out. Because when we do find something that both of us
I'm in
have
between,
okay, that happened. That definitely happened.
What's fascinating with Kevin and all the experiences he's had, especially with his dolls, is no matter where they come from, no matter what the backstory is, Kevin's got this spiritual healing quality to him, to where it calms everything down. Except for me, it's never calmed me down. But anyway.
He's too.
But see, this is where a lot of his book material comes from, is from these dolls and what he learns. I guess, Kevin, is that right? From their spirits, from whatever's attached?
Yep, it is. There we go. We flashed that a couple of times. Buy, myhaunted.com, Amazon, Kindle.
See, I told Kevin, I tell everybody, it's like, you may not like Donald Trump, but there is something to learn from him. Shameless self-promotion.
It's a beautiful book. It's amazing. I can't do a good impression.
Yeah. It's actually my second favorite book of all time, next to The Art of the Steal.
Where's one of your dolls today, Kevin?
You didn't,
You didn't bring a doll today?
Yeah, I didn't think to do it. I didn't know we were going to have company till last minute, but now I do have a couple of things in here. There's the haunted dollhouse.
did you ever put lights in there?
Yeah, I knew he was going to ask that. I still have not been to Hobby Lobby to get lights yet. I need to do that.
Man, you've got a trip to make.
Kevin, they're cheaper at Amazon.com.
Oh, okay.
Now they'll pop up in your news
And
feed.
you can see him
No
from
work
here.
for you.
I don't know if you can see him from here. I wish there was zoom on this.
Kevin, we don't want to see your bathroom. Geez.
Oh, it's not the bathroom. That's the crying boy painting over there.
Oh yes,
wow.
you know
There's
I
a
was
glare in the picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really hoping my last house would set on fire. So I really was. I'm dead serious.
It's true,
I was
true.
on eBay. And I'm like, I'm gonna buy this thing because I'll take the $150,000 and get the hell out of this piece of crap. I mean, I was literally on eBay because of the legend, and I'm like, yes, I'm gonna buy it. And Chip was like, you would, and I don't even care if this place burns down. Let's get out of here.
So how far are you guys away from this? The
Oh my
Mothman?
God, we're 8 hours.
Yeah, about 8 hours.
8 hours.
That's
Oh, you're
We are 5 hours from Salem.
Yeah.
All right.
We are 8 hours from Mothman.
1 hour from Roanoke.
1 hour from Roanoke. 1 hour from the Jamestown. Well, I mean, there's
Right.
everything.
I want to go to the Jamestown because I like cannibals.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know what the crazy thing is driving around there? Like, so I thought it was closing at 5. Okay. But apparently it was the buildings and all that stuff that was closing at 5.
Yeah.
So we were like there at like 4:45 because it was so random. We're like, dude, we're stopping. Let's check it out. So I thought they were going to lock the gate. So we're doing this drive around tour real quick, just passing by signs. Like we couldn't even stop to read because I'm like, dude, we're going to get locked in here. No freaking way, man. No way. So we're powering through this thing real quick. And there's all these people jogging and going the other way. And we get to the end and we're like, dude, it was not locking the path. It was freaking locking the buildings. Oh my God. Because, but the crazy part about it is there's so much swamp there.
Yeah.
It is just absolutely, when you imagine
Without roads.
them without roads, with just a ship, with just, you know, they didn't have their rain boots and all this crap.
Well,
They were
the
trudging
overgrowth.
through
Yeah.
crap with God knows what in there.
Not knowing when the next.
How long ago did this event take place?
It was 1682.
What, 1682?
Is that when it was?
Whenever they
Landed in Jamestown?
when they landed, I don't know, but whenever
Oh.
they started building the settlement, remember they left and they came back, and I think it was 1682, and they started putting down the first housing and whatever. But then they should have, figured out the lay of the land. But imagining him not knowing where the next swamp was going to happen. Yeah.
So what you're telling me is now in the 21st century that the terrain has not changed.
Not
No,
really.
there's just a road that goes through it.
Yeah, they cleaned up just a little bit,
And-
but
Is that considered federal property or is it state?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but there's all these signs of what used to be there. There's a few pieces of history left.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have the glass house from like 1700 or something, whatever that is. We didn't stop. Like I said, I didn't want to get locked in there, but they have like a replica ship. They have museums. There's all kinds of stuff.
But they have
And
a
they
fort.
have,
Fort is
Aileen,
Mhm.
if you got stuck there, you got plenty to eat with Chip being there with you.
Oh my God, there was frogs galore.
There's frogs, yeah.
Frog legs.
Frog,
Frog legs.
It was deafening how loud the frogs
Oh, they were
were.
so loud. And that was the one thing, like it was getting darker, you know, because it gets dark at 5. And we were just like, dude, how creepy would that be? You
yeah.
like just get here and you hear
But
all these
hey,
insects and everything.
God, just think of the video you would have gotten.
Oh, I know. I know. Well, a few of my clients, you know, they talk about stuff and they said like their friends that live in Jamestown will like be out going for a jog because I guess everybody jogs here but us. I don't know. But they'll be out going for a jog and like they feel like someone's following them and they're always like looking over their shoulder because there's just that looming feeling in the air. But there's also the what native tribe
The
was that?
Powhatan.
Powhatan. The Powhatan settlement is like right down the road. So it's like imagining them clashing back then. It was like so close. And I was like, wow, this is like insane.
Now, what's the name of the town you're in?
That we're in Norfolk.
Okay. And what size city is that?
Oh God.
I know it's a weird.
It's weird because it's a
a
lot
big-
bigger than you think it is.
It's a big little city. Yeah.
It goes about 20 minutes out.
So it is land mass is large.
Yeah.
Right.
We're by the bay.
We're on the river. The bay's.
We're on the
North,
river and
yeah.
the bay's north,
Chesapeake
but
Bay.
it's like literally like around the corner. Like
So you're right close to the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're about
15, 18, something
15,
like
18 minutes away from the Atlantic.
That's really fascinating. I'd love to get
yeah.
up there.
And
Yeah.
oh dude, you're gonna love it. And Chip just got a job with Virginia Ghost Tours.
Really?
Virginia
Is he
Beach
gonna lead
Ghost,
us?
Ghost Walk. Yeah.
You gonna do one of the walking tours?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you
Is it-
know,
is there a script in here?
no, the script's in the other room.
Yeah.
But you know, there's
You got to memorize it now. You got work to do.
yes. So
It's kind of embarrassing though because
there's
it's a lot of
not
cheese.
factual cheese
Yeah.
fest. So he's gonna have to slip some faction in there because
Yeah, because I can't just do all this.
cheesiness.
Oh, in other words, they got a lot of entertainment value stuff.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
and it's like,
Yeah.
dude, there's entertainment in
And
the
he looked at his
truth.
back seat and they were gone.
Yeah, they were back. They were
We
a
all
pile
know
of
that
bones.
story.
Like, oh come on, that was like goosebumps.
Yeah.
Quit. So,
13 Alabama ghosts. That was.
but
we've all heard that.
there's a church that's 5 minutes around the corner. It's from 1743. Was it 1743? I feel like it's 1743. It's the
Right.
oldest standing building that survived all the wars and everything.
Oh,
And it's has a cannonball that they have the plaque next to it. A cannonball was launched into it. They were trying to destroy it, and the cannonball just stuck in the wall of the church.
And it's still there.
It's still there. So
Hmm.
it's in the upper like right-hand corner of the church. It has the old cemetery all surrounding
One of my
it.
friends had just watched a special about it on A&E.
Yeah.
I didn't know this is where we were living.
Yeah, and it's like literally right down the street. It's fascinating. When I found out about that, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, let's go. So we're over there and they have the gates open. They said, welcome outside every gate. So it's like, well, we're not trespassing. It says welcome. So we're like wandering around, like just
the cemetery.
fascinated. Just
You didn't mention the gates, which was the cemetery to the church.
yeah. But yeah, the cannonball's still there. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. And everything else burned down to the ground here. So for that to still be there, that's pretty amazing.
Mhm.
About 200 houses in the district that we live in called the Berkeley district. It used to be called the Hardy Plantation. But then when getting away from that, they changed it to Hardy Fields. So it's the Hardy Fields Berkeley district.
And we just found out that it used to be a grotto or a ghetto, the Jewish actual ghettos back, one of the first ones in the country.
Yeah.
We
And
just found that out.
200 of the houses burned down in our
I
neighborhood.
got requested. You're familiar with Natchez, Mississippi?
Where?
Natchez, Mississippi.
Natchez, yeah, Natchez, yeah.
It's the very end of the Natchez Trace
Right.
Parkway.
Right.
I want to share. So a couple, and I've done weddings over there before. But a few weekends ago, they said, we need somebody to officiate our wedding. And they said it's St. Mary's Church. And it ended up being way off the beaten path. I just want to show you
Those are fun.
the beginning of this video of this church. You would love this.
Oh,
When
man.
you were talking about that, it's like you got to see this. So hold on one second.
Okay.
And let me share the screen. There we go. Don't need the audio. I just want you. Can you see this?
Ooh, look at that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
I love the tall, thin churches. I don't know why they just
Oh,
seem creepier.
wow.
So, of course, I made a video of the wedding, but, you know, I wanted to show you the church.
Yeah.
And let me get to the end of it. I think I got some more video.
Medieval it
Hold on
is.
a second. Here we go.
God, how old is that thing?
Pre-Civil War.
Wow.
I mean, it's like 3 miles off the beaten path.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Wow.
When
That's
you mentioned
gorgeous.
that, I had to share that with you
Yeah.
because,
Absolutely.
but that was, and there's of course graves right behind it, you know.
Oh, I know. That's gorgeous. They just, oh,
So yeah, you made me think of that, so I had to share it.
no,
Yeah.
that's awesome. We love old churches. There's
That
nothing
to
like-
me, seeing that old Gothic and all the patina was there. They had not tried to rebuild it or anything.
Right.
And under the stage, the pulpit area,
Yeah.
is graves under there,
Yeah.
Oh, I
Wow.
love it. That's
which back in the day was not unusual for
Right.
them
Right.
to bury beneath the
Very
church.
Yeah.
That was
right.
just that, and it was of course originally a Catholic church, and under the church was considered the most sacred land.
Wow.
You know,
yeah.
You know the difference between a cemetery and a graveyard?
Oh, I looked it up one time, but I don't remember the difference anymore.
A graveyard is where graves are connected to a church. It's on a churchyard.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Cemetery is not attached to a church.
Yes, that's
Independent,
right.
yeah.
That's right. I remember I looked it up because there was a difference and I completely
Yeah.
forgot.
I really appreciate last moment y'all jumping in here and joining.
Oh,
This
that
is
was
very
great. That's
Yeah.
perfect. I was
Love-
like, God, I haven't talked to them in forever. Yes, socializing.
Like mine. This is
COVID
amazing.
socializing, man. This is the extent of our like socialization since we got here because it's just been us, you know?
That's it. It's the same for everybody, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to
Everybody's doing what
protect
they should,
yourself. you
yeah.
know. So, but you've got to, if y'all ever get back in town, you've got to go. Kevin, I'm inviting him to your house.
Okay.
Oh,
You've got to
God,
see
that'd
his
be
the way
amazing.
he's got that set up now is like it's a museum.
Oh, I believe it. I believe
Yeah.
it.
It's awesome.
That's
And
amazing.
I'm excited. I hope that y'all let me come up there and visit y'all
No,
sometime.
listen,
Yeah,
all
please.
we're waiting on is like I keep getting distracted by projects that are costing money. Like, ooh, let me change the chandelier to this
Haley,
gothic
Haley,
black one.
I got a secret to share with you. It's not really a secret,
Don't
but
spend money.
there's going to be projects for the rest of your life.
Right.
I know.
Right.
No, I just need to get. I think we're gonna make creepy room that comes and goes with the creepy feeling, the guest bedroom. So we just got to get furniture for it, bed, so you can come
And
up
then
here and
that
sleep.
room joins to what we're going to turn our oddity museum into.
Oh,
Yeah.
Make sure that when you get a bed for that creepy room,
Yeah,
make sure it's a bed that somebody died in.
right. How do
Yeah.
we research that?
Actually, I think you should get a bed and put white sheets on it and put red handprints and paint all over it, and then here have at it. Night,
Or
night.
just go into an abandoned mental asylum and get one of those beds. Just throw it in there real quick.
I got a better idea yet. Find one from an old prison, the bed they executed people. You know, with
There you
the
go. Yeah.
yeah.
We do have a gurney we could put a mattress on. I
Yeah.
mean,
There you go.
there's
there's even straps to make sure you.
So I saw the video of you. You gave the initial tour right after y'all got
Yeah.
there. You walked around the backyard. You didn't show much of the front of the house in that video.
Oh yeah.
But I was curious. Do you have like a driveway? I mean, where do you park?
There's no driveway. It's street
Park on
parking.
the street.
And we did have a little street parking war with the neighbors across the street.
I know how to cure that.
Oh, it was.
What kind of do
it
y'all
was
have?
nasty.
Do you have one or two vehicles?
2 vehicles.
Okay, so one of them's got to be traded in for an old hearse.
Well,
Look,
that's
do you
what
know
we've
that
already-
I've literally-
we've already there's a place in
I've been-
Atlanta. You can look them up. There's
Yes.
a place in Atlanta that sells
Already
parking,
done.
running, and the prices are incredible.
Yeah,
It's just getting.
we're
it here
working
in
on
Atlanta.
that. Trust me.
We've already.
Nobody's gonna ask for our parking spot.
Nope.
They're not gonna mess with us anymore.
Nope.
Well,
They're gonna be like,
tell you what.
"Oh,
I live in a neighborhood at the end of a cul-de-sac here where there's mostly older retired people. Like the little old lady next door is like in her late 80s and whatnot. And I'm trying to find an old hearse. And I'm going to have the Grim Reaper, and I'm going to have him holding a sign saying next.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
They're already afraid of me, so I thought I'd finish it off.
exactly. We're working on that. We would like that effect on the neighbors across the street
Oh,
who
for
said you can go beep a beep because we asked them to please don't park in our parking spot in front of our house that we're paying the mortgage on when
Well,
they have an apartment that has a driveway and 2 spaces in front of it, and their driveway is 4 cars in. So tell me
Are
why
they-
you're parking over on our side.
Are they Christian? Are they Christian?
Maybe if that's
Well,
what they want to call themselves.
Got a thing for Christians, don't you?
Well, that's a loose term. Yeah. We gotta.
I mean,
It is,
fine,
but
Christian.
here's what there's another way to prevent it, and all you need is a can of paint. So when the parking place is empty, you just put 666.
Right.
you know, they would be very superstitious.
I actually thought about making a sign and would say Satanic Church member parking only, and then just see if they took it or not.
Or put,
Trust me, we
or-
thought of a
or-
pentagram on
yeah,
the door.
yeah. put this parking reserved for gay Christians.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my
Exactly.
God. We pull up with like the most metal, like music playing, so we look like totally crazy. Like
So
we're
when I
standing our ground over
when I
here.
tell you what we're gonna do when I show up at your house, whenever that may be, I'm gonna wear my clergy collar,
Dude, do it.
a dark
Yes.
suit, and my clergy collar, and I'm gonna have holy water.
Yes,
Yes.
and you got to be doing the blessing,
Yeah.
and then just go stand in the street and start throwing it towards their
And
house.
if you could have tubular bells
Yeah.
on the stereo when you pull up, that would be even better.
And I'll memorize a bunch of Latin garbage.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yep.
I love it. Oh man.
Okay, Kevin, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, you got a thing for Christians. He loves Christians. He knows it.
Oh my goodness.
But Kevin, you know you're an exception to the rule. You know that.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
don't even have to tell you that. You know. How many times have you had to change churches because they're so judgmental and critical?
Well,
You can't even count that
the
high.
few I've checked, the few I've left because of that were, and I guess I keep winding up in the right places at the right time. The churches I've been to when I was a kid, the churches I went to, they didn't care about it. If you went trick or treating Halloween. In fact, I remember our youth group when I was a little kid at Adamsville Baptist. We had ghost story night one night.
Oh, that's fun.
And there wasn't that kind of, well, you can't believe in ghosts, that's evil,
Exactly.
And
That's where
but
it
as
starts
I
getting crazy when you get all fanatic like that. It's like,
Yeah, but as I
a little.
got older, it seemed like people got more and more warped up here about but the few I left was because there was too much drama. It wasn't
Yeah,
even
and
anything
that's not
toward
what
me.
it's
It was
about.
just I was tired of seeing the people having drama with each other.
Exactly.
There was one I went to where one of the pastors was pocketing money, and I was like, I can't go to a church where I can't trust where my money's going to when I.
Exactly.
But the church I'm at now, I don't think they even care that I do what I do. They're not. I mean, they're very, very open. The pastor one time he said, if you're looking for the perfect church, you ain't gonna find it here. You ain't gonna find it nowhere else. He said, "Welcome to the church of dysfunction."
I love it.
I've,
That's
I've,
awesome.
I've got a challenge for you, Kevin.
A
You ready?
challenge.
Yes. So
Okay.
you go to church every Sunday? Are y'all having church now?
Well, they are, but I still do. I watch mine on live stream on
Okay.
YouTube. I don't
Well,
quite
the
trust.
next time you actually go to church, you got to take one of your haunted dolls in
Oh,
with you.
yeah.
I knew it was a second ago. I was going to say, take a haunted doll with you.
Yes.
And set it down in the seat next to you.
They say, what is that grown man doing with a doll next to him?
Yeah, but you know
They
how you
probably
get
pull
them,
their kids away.
you know how to get them to embrace your doll, don't you?
And how's that?
Just stick a $20 bill in its hand.
Oh my goodness.
All right. I'm not gonna pick on Kevin. I like Kevin.
Well, now I'm going to start talking about the hoo-hoos. Kelsey's the hoo-hoo person. He likes the
Yeah,
hoo-hoo.
God is out. I had a vision several years ago, Chip. and God came to me in this vision in the middle of the night. I had not been drinking, not been smoking any pot. I know it's unusual for me, but I had not. Okay. And all of a sudden, this transgender entity came to me.
Oh, my Lord.
Half male, half female, only shaved one leg. Okay. And it says, I am God. My name is Hazda Bahuhu. So we created a whole religion and we call it hoo-hooism.
Right.
Okay. And, so we don't say amen or praise God. We just go around saying hoo-hoo. And it works.
Right.
And they pick their noses and all that good stuff.
Oh my goodness.
And nobody had to die for your sins. Okay. We don't have any COVID-19 in our church whatsoever. It's a pretty neat church.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Folks, we are talking to Norfolk, Virginia with Chip and Kayleen Hudson.
Yeah.
Chip is a world-renowned artist.
Chip Hudson Art, Facebook, Instagram. ChipHudson.com.
ChipHudson.com.
Christmas is coming. There's a wish machine. My
Yeah.
Haunted Dolls. All kinds of good books. Kevin's an awesome writer.
Yes.
He's got books. There's all kinds of good stuff.
Kayleen is kind of like me. She's very loud.
I'm super loud. I sometimes have to forget, like when I'm with my clients and we're talking about all kinds of crazy crap, like maybe a paranormal adventure I went on or serial killers. I'm like, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't do that loud. What is that? The universal
That's
way?
my little advertisement. I got you.
Yes, your wishes. I love it.
I mean, I've let Kevin go on and on and on about his My Haunted Dolls crap.
Hey, crap. Hoo-hoo.
See, I've got him saying hoo-hoo
Hey.
now.
I got this.
And we don't say hallelujah. We say jalapeno.
Well, hallelujah. Hey, did you see this ghost photo I had, Kayleen?
Ooh, I did not.
One of my spirit daughters, Robin, one of the haunted dolls. I was doing
Yeah.
I want you to take a good look at that picture and tell me this is what Kevin is all about here. Kevin is the nicest, sweetest man on the planet. That the ghost he captures looks like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Casper the Friendly Ghost. But yeah, I heard little footsteps that's at my old house before I moved here.
Right.
I had Robin's doll there, and she's supposed to be the spirit of a little 3-year-old girl who owned that doll. And she was chatty on the spirit box. And after I turned everything off, I heard little footsteps in the hallway there. And I said, Robin, if that's you, I'd love to have your picture. May I please have it? And I snapped the picture down the hall. I didn't see anything in the hall, but on my camera screen, that showed up a little wispy white,
That is
see-through
awesome.
figure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, one night I don't have it on the computer, so I can't pull it up. But one night when Chip was doing one of his like zone out psychic things or whatever, he was in the living room and he had his head back because he kind of tunes out, just closes his eyes, kind of goes into a trance. And I could feel the room getting cold, so I was snapping pictures while he had his head back, and you could see this whole like all these beams of light just coming up behind him, and he was like, I can feel it. It's and it started getting really cold, and I caught it on camera. Pretty cool.
This is my crown.
So I've got that brings about another question.
Yeah.
Why is it? And I've got one of those little handheld thermometers that we now use to test for fevers for COVID, but we use them for ghost hunting.
Right.
Why is it if we're dealing with energy that we are convinced that there's an entity when it's cold? Explain that.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like a chill, but I didn't have a thermometer or anything. It was just almost like you just felt something was there.
So did you visually see these light coming from the?
No, but
Just
no.
on the camera.
On the camera, I was taking them over and over and over again, same lighting.
Oh, so they showed up on the camera.
It was probably just giving it energy by him tuning into it and me constantly taking pictures. It was like it finally showed itself for that split second, because then it disappeared after that. But I don't know. It was a different feeling. It was like you could
Well,
feel
there was
some.
like a crown of orbs around my head. Too,
Yeah,
you know?
it was like here and it went up. Like it was just all these lights dancing around. It was really cool.
Wow. So, and
Yeah.
you felt it, Chip, as it was taking place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. I kept thinking, like, okay, something's moving around me, because it felt like you were asking about, why people, put cold with the spirit, whatever. There again, I think that has to do with energy. Energy friction makes heat. I think they're sucking that energy out to give themselves the energy they need. Therefore, they're taking the heat out of the air. Kind of a
Like a psychic vampire.
right, exactly,
Right.
like a vacuum, kind of taking the energy to kind of make themselves
Kind of like
more.
aliens hovering. Maybe they're using it to fuel up their things to run off of our stupidity and leave,
So have you ever had any, speaking of alien, have you ever had any UFO experiences, anything like that?
No, we
I have
tried.
not. I've wanted my whole life.
Well, I don't have time to tell it now, but I've had more than one UFO experience, and I've had my Men in Black experience too.
Yes, I've
probably
heard him all about that. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
But
crazy insane.
yeah, Chip Hudson.com,
Right.
Yes.
Right.
like the Hudson River.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
MyHauntedDolls.com, Kevin Kane. If you go to
Yes.
YouTube looking for him, but other people use My Haunted Dolls on YouTube as well, so make sure you add the words Kevin Kane on there. And
Yeah,
if
you can just follow the link on my website. There's a link to it.
Yeah, I'm the one. I'm going to take credit for this. I'm the one that said you better go out and buy the name My Haunted Dolls.
Oh, heck yeah.
And that's but that's kind of how he branded himself, right? My Haunted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if you go to that website, you can also buy his books. If you buy the book directly from him,
There it
he will
is.
autograph it for you. And for an extra $25, he'll include an 8x10 glossy pencil.
$25.
Remember,
Modeling photo shoots, Kevin.
I do have a picture out there, but it's not $25.
and I've got to clarify something. Kevin and I both are the only two living saints.
Oh, I was gonna say the same.
Oh, Chip,
I
don't know.
halo up here.
Chip, my PhD is actually in theology. My
Yeah.
background is in religion. Okay, so that's why I get hung up on beating up Christians, because they don't even know their own book.
Right.
Um,
Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
but so to take advantage of certain things, I've got my own church, federal tax ID number and whatnot. I call it the International Old Catholic Church, not Roman Catholic.
Right.
Even though I do like parts of the Roman ritual, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is the word Catholic means universal.
Yeah.
So we serve everybody,
Right.
even
I love
people
that.
like Kevin.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah. So I forgot where I was going with all that now. I got lost in my own story.
It's okay. We got good stories. Sometimes we
But
have
the fact is we all share this planet together.
yeah.
What happens at death? Well, you are going to die, so you will know one day if you know anything at all.
Right.
I think there's a lot. The energy thing. I'm not convinced that you have conscious thought after death. I'm not convinced of that at all. But the reality is there's something out there. I'm convinced there's something out there, whether it's energy, whether there's aliens from another planet, or there's a different realm.
Right.
I don't know if Chip ever heard this story. Kayleen's probably heard it, but years ago, early in life, I had this relationship with this girl named Pam. Her and her family had this distinctive ear deformity. It was a genetic thing. So she was easily recognizable throughout life simply because of this ear. And she had gone her way and moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and married some high school friend or whatever. I was in Nashville and married. Hadn't thought about this woman in years. As usual, I home officed. One day I had to run to the Super Walmart on Charlotte Avenue to get some printer or something ink for my printer. And leaving the Walmart around noon on a bright sunshiny day, in from the parking area comes this woman that looked like Pam. I tried to get Pam's attention, could not get her attention. She disappeared in the store, and I assumed, well, we've all got a double, whatever, okay? I'd had the same office number for years. When I got to my home office, within 2 minutes, my phone rang. And the voice on the other end of the phone said, Kelsey, this is Pam. I said, I thought I saw you. She said, what were you doing in Charlotte, North Carolina at the courthouse? When I saw her at the Walmart in Nashville, at the exact same time, she saw me at
Wow.
the courthouse.
Right.
Doppelganger.
North Carolina. I had no way to get a hold of her. Didn't even think about it anymore. Since I'd had the same office number forever, it was easy to find me.
Right.
I did not even try to contact. I mean, literally, no sooner than I get set at my desk, the phone rang, and it was her.
Yeah.
She would not talk about it anymore.
Wow. That's
She
You were in the
awesome.
twilight zone.
So anyway, so there's something there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm convinced that we really know everything about what that something is.
What are your dolls doing over there, Kevin?
Nothing keeps falling out of my desk. Oh.
Did you go get a doll?
No, I didn't go get a doll. I've been right here the whole time.
You were being attacked by a spirit of a doll?
Oh, there's none in here.
Poltergeist activity.
What's that behind you, Kevin?
I see there's a door, there's a wall, a painting. I can see back there.
Okay.
Mr. Hoo Hoo.
Woo-hoo.
Oh my goodness.
Guys, Chip, I'm glad to finally get to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finally, I was like, oh my God, you're going to love them.
I'm not going to tell you everything at this point of what Kayleen said about you, but it wasn't all.
It's okay. I have her phone password.
Keep us posted as to what's going on there. Feel free
Yes,
to post.
definitely.
Please share your stories on our Facebook page, Abnormal
Oh,
Alabama.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And any kind of evidence. I'm definitely going to. Trey, you hear something.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah.
Look at that. His
Yep.
ears perked
He's
up.
alert.
Yeah.
This is him all the time. All the time. Like
All
he
the
will
time.
let us know. He will like when
Oh, tell him the story about the. Well, I could tell him, I guess, because I was here.
oh yeah.
So here's a true story. It happened just last week. He has Where's one up here? No.
Oh.
We call them Mr. Mousies. They're just little round
Yeah,
faces
and
that
they
squeak.
squeak.
And he chases them like he would chase a mouse. So we call him Mr. Mousy. He was chewing on one in my art studio, which is right over there, and it squeaks, making like a high-pitched squeak or whatever. And about that time, it sounded like coming from the living room, which is right over there. Audible, someone's mouth going week, 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 like trying to copy the noise that his squeak toy was making. And he stood up, every hair on his body was standing up, and he looked toward the living room where I thought I heard this voice for about 5 minutes, just staring.
Oh, he stares all the time.
And it was sounding like
All the
somebody
time.
trying to replicate the sound of his squeak toy. And it was just me and him here.
Did you have that dog in Alabama with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know the dog very well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He even, when there was the walking back and forth and Chip saw a shadow underneath the bathroom door, when we first moved here, he would go, "Babe, were you upstairs?" And I'm like, "No." Then after a few days of us realizing, no, it's not me upstairs ever when you're in the bathroom, he would just be like, downstairs. He goes, "You weren't upstairs, were you?" And I'm like, "Exactly." Because Chip saw like the shadow of a person standing behind the door. And Treyu was in there with him, and he backed up as far as he could with his butt like up in the corner of the
Between
bathroom,
my legs, yes.
like staring at the door, terrified. It was just like, okay, that can't be Kayleen, because he just is like tucked so far back, freaked out. But he stares all the time. Like he'll let you know when something's there. His ears are up, and he just won't move, and you'll hear something. So.
Let's do this again.
Yes,
Right.
yes. This was so much fun.
I enjoyed it.
Remember?
Yes.
I know Chip was bored to death, but we'll try to
No,
liven it up.
definitely
next
not.
time, Chip.
When you start talking about esoteric ideas and religion, those are and aliens. Those are
Sold.
Well, I tell you what we'll do, Chip. Just you and I will do a live stream together. We'll talk
Sounds
about things
perfect.
that,
Dude,
That
yes.
sounds perfect.
that I know that Kevin don't want to be involved in.
Kevin's going to remain his sainthood.
Yes.
Well, that was where I was going with that story. The International Catholic Church. So I made myself a saint and Kevin a saint. My idea was very simply, I don't want to be made a saint after I die. I want to be alive so I can
Right.
enjoy it, right?
Sense.
So I printed out him a certificate. He took it to work and put it on his cubicle wall.
Nice.
That's awesome. Oh my
So-
God.
Yeah. So that's where my prediction is at stkelsey.com. That's where my prediction for 2019.
All right.
2020.
All right. That's awesome.
Guys, peace and love.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Stay
Yes.
safe. Stay COVID free.
I'm a Ringo Starr fan, so peace and love.
I'm a Fleetwood Mac fan.
I don't have his hair, but you know,
That's okay.
keep us posted. And one day,
Definitely.
maybe I'll talk Kevin into taking a road trip with me up to North
Yeah,
Carolina.
definitely. That would be awesome, Kevin. We would love
I
to
can
have
put
you
on, I
back.
can put on a seance for y'all that will blow your freaking mind.
Yes.
Plenty of room for it.
Yes, plenty of room
Yeah.
for it. And lots of history to go explore, guys.
There you go. There you
So
go.
that would be
Y'all have
lots of
a-
fun.
Have a wonderful evening. Be
Yes,
safe.
you guys
too,
too. It was
yes.
so good catching up with you. And
Yeah,
Kevin, next time you need one of your dolls,
Share,
guest speaker.
share these
Yeah.
stories. Share these stories.
Yes.
We want to hear more of these stories. Okay?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Say goodbye to everybody. Bye.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.